Temple in Guwahati, Assam, is India's premier center for Tantric and Aghoris spiritual traditions. While the temple is renowned for this mystical energy, official temple authorities clarify that genuine Aghoris and Tantrics do not permanently reside there, nor do they perform harmful black magic. The Aghori connection to Kamakhya. The Aghori path, a deeply intense spiritual tradition focused on transcending duality, ego, and societal taboos, is intrinsically linked to Kamakhya. Because the temple is dedicated to goddess Kamakhya, the goddess of desire and the ultimate manifestation of the feminine creative force, it serves as a primary site for sadhana, spiritual practice. During specific periods, such as the annual Ambubachi Mela, which occurs every June when the temple is closed for the goddess's menstrual cycle, thousands of sadhus, tantrics, and aghoris emerge from the Himalayas and remote areas to gather at the Nilachal hills to perform esoteric rituals and deep meditation. Important local guidelines and practices. If you are planning a spiritual visit or looking to interact with aghoris at the temple, keep the following in mind. 1. Official stance on practitioners. Temple authorities state that authentic Aghori practitioners and sadhakas who perform initiations, such as Mala Diksha, are distinct from commercial figures. Beware of individuals offering paid, black magic, or remedy services. 2. Visiting the shrine. You can plan your trip to the Nilachal hills by reviewing the Kamakhya Temple official guide for general darshan timings and puja bookings. And 3. Authentic traditions. Serious seekers typically seek out established Aghori lineages or specific Aghor Kaliduna, sacred fire altars, during festivals like Ambubachi. For the most up-to-date information on upcoming festivals and specific spiritual gatherings, check Kamakhya Dham updates before your visit.
When they say Adesh, actually they mean that I bow to your divine will and ultimate truth inside you. While many traditional Hindu sadhus wear saffron or orange, specific tantric practitioners and aghoris choose to wear solid black clothes, kala kapra, symbol of dissolution. In Tantra, black represents the dissolution of all element, just as all the colors disappear into the black. All earthly illusions, identities and egos dissolve into the supreme darkness of Mahakal, Lord Shiva or Goddess Kali. Energy absorption. In science, black is worn because it reflects no energy and absorbs everything. For a second, tantric practitioners undergoing intense sadhana, the color acts as the shield of the log and absorb their spiritual energies without leaking them to the external world. Connection to the Kamakhya Temple. At Kamakhya Temple in Assam, the practitioners belong to the Aghori and Nath lineage cross path, particularly at the sacred open-air fire altars called Aghora Kali Dhuna. Prominent teachers and acharyas within the tantric community such as Aghori Guru Manikandan or local Nath Babas frequently host dikshas at these altars during the auspicious time. These spiritual leaders guide through serious students intense mantras to conquer internal fear and attachment. Carrying a kalash, a sacred brass, copper or earthen pot on the head is deeply symbolic, a highly ritual of Maa Kamakhya Temple in Assam. This practice is most prominent seen during the Grand Kalash Yatra, a Ghat Yatra procession that take place at the beginning of the major festival like annual Ambubachi Mela. The primary reasons devotees, especially women, carry the kalash on their head include evoking and carrying the living goddess, the living deity. In a Tantric and Shakta tradition, an empty pot represents the cosmic womb or unmanifested form of creation. The sacred water devotees first match the nearby holy Brahmaputra river or the sacred temple spring Kund. They fill the kalash with their water, while priests chant specific mantras to evoke the energy of Fana, the Maa Kamakhya, into the liquid. The body of a throne, by balancing this filled kalash on their head, devotees are symbolically carry the living presence, purify and blessing of the goddess, the highest, most revered past of their body. A symbolic of the cosmic creation and fertility, the womb of the universe, Kamakhya, is celebrated as the ultimate center of the fertility and source of all birth. The element of life, the rituals, architecture of the Kalash represent the entire universe. The base pot symbolizes the earth, that water inside symbolizes the life-giving fluid. The mango leaves represent the god of the desire, Kama, and the coconut represent the prosperity, and carrying this on the head is an act of gratitude and prayers to the goddess Kali, Maa Kamakhya, bless and the hand, family and community of the abundance and fertility. The intense core initiation and ritual practices of the Aghori path. These rituals are designed to shock the human ego and break down the social programming. Doing this their own Pindadan. In maintain Hinduism, Pindadan is a post-death funeral ritual performed by the son or the family members to liberate the soul of the deceased. However, before a seeker is officially initiated into a Aghori path, they must perform their own Pindadan while they are still alive. The meaning, by offering funeral rice, balls, pindos to themselves, they are declining themselves legally, socially, and spiritually, dead to the world. The severing of the ties, these rituals permanently cuts their ties to their biological family, their caste and names, and all the social belongings. From the moment the world considered them dead, they consider their physical body to be nothing more than a temporary corpse serving to Lord Shiva. The fire rituals offering rum and alcohol. You will frequently see Aghori pouring alcohol such as rum or local country liquor directly into the sacred dhani, fire, dhuni, or a funeral pyre, causing the flames to violently flared up and making a huge shape. The transmutations of the toxic energy. In conventional society, alcohol is seen as an intoxicating, taboo, or unclean substance, but in Aghori, physical teaches that God exists in everything, both the clean and unclean. By offering toxic substances to the sacred fire, they are symbolically offering their internal attachment and social judgment to the concurrent and purified by God, pleasing and fierce deities. Fire rituals, homam, are meant to evoke specific energies. Aghoris worship Lord Shiva, her fierce forms such as Kal Bhairava and Mahakal, as well as goddess Samshantara. In Tantric texts, this destructive cosmic energies and traditional appears using intense, unconventional offering like liquor and meat. The weird sound and the screams, deep roars and sharp sounds made by Aghoris is formed of the fire and not random act of madness. Their presence esoteric roots, shamanic and seed mantras, bij mantras. Tantric rituals utilizes explosive seed sound such as pat, hrim or hum, which must be vibrated from the navel from the immense physical force. To an outsider, this sudden loud and aggressive vocalization sound like a screaming or roaring, but they are not. They are deeply into it. They are evoking some power, breaking the sound barriers of the mind. Aghoris meditation in a cremation ground, samshan, where the psychological atmosphere is heavy with the fear, grief, and negative spirit. They emit fierce roars often mimicking the roar of the Lord Bhairava or the lion. To shatter the silence, drive away slower astral entities and violently breaks through their own mental fears, releasing their ego. Screaming into the fire is also a psychological release. It allows the practitioners to completely exhaust their human inhibition, shedding the polished masks of civilization's behavior to connect with the raw, untamed primal energy of nature.
Receiving the prasad and performing the first puja when the doors reopen at the Kamakhya Temple, Assam, for the Ambubachi Mela is considered highly auspicious and spiritually powerful. Here is what makes this time so significant. 1. The reopening. The festival marks the annual menstruation of the goddess. The temple remains strictly closed for 3 days. On the 4th day, after ceremonial bathing and purification rituals, Nivriti, the doors reopen to devotees. 2. The first puja, being present for the very first glimpse of the goddess and offering the first prayers after the purification is believed to bring immense blessings, divine protection, and prosperity. 3. Highly auspicious prasad. Devotees who visit during this time receive 2 uniquely sacred items, which are considered extremely powerful. Angodak, the holy spring water from the temple, representing the fluid part of the goddess's cycle. Angabastra, tiny pieces of the red cloth that covered the yoni pitha inside the closed shrine, which are said to be imbued with her divine feminine energy. If you are planning a spiritual journey, it is important to check the exact calendar dates for your visit, as the specific days for the closing, pravriti, and opening, nivriti, of the shrine vary slightly each year. If you are interested, I can help you with finding the exact dates for the next Ambubachi Mela, travel and accommodation tips for visiting Nilachal Hill in Guwahati, information on how to request this prasad through official temple channels if you cannot attend in person. Let me know what you'd like to know next.
State, all the farming communities, Agri Samaj, strictly halt agricultural action. Taboos impose tiling, plowing, digging, sewing, or disturbing the soil in any way is entirely banned for these 3 days. The earth is given time to rest, regenerate, and nourish. Breaking the soil during this time is considered harmful to cosmic energies. Once the temple reopens on the 4th day, farmers celebrate the fertile earth and actively began the new monsoon crop planting cycle.
Typically in June, the Kamakhya Temple doors close for 3 days, signifying the goddess's annual menstrual cycle and the fertile earth. When the doors reopen on the 4th day, priests perform the Snan, bathing ritual, and Nitya Puja before distributing the miraculous Raktvistr, blood-stained red cloth. History of the festival and the first puja. 1. Ancient origins. There is no exact historical record marking the first celebration. The roots of Ambubachi trace back centuries, blending indigenous agricultural fertility rites with ancient Tantric traditions. The term itself is derived from Sanskrit, Ambubachi, meaning the surge of water, coinciding with the arrival of the monsoon. 2. The first puja, Nivriti. On the 4th day of the festival, the temple doors are ceremoniously opened following the Nivriti, conclusion, ceremonies. The priests first perform purification rites, washing the temple in the yoni-shaped stone, the manifestation of the goddess. And 3. The rituals. The first puja after the reopening involves a ceremonial bath for the deity. The holy stone is bathed and draped in fresh red cloth before devotees are finally allowed to enter the sanctum to seek the mother goddess's blessings. If you are planning to attend, let me know what year or dates you are interested in looking into. If you want to know about the different types of offerings given to the goddess, where to find accommodation near the Nilachal hills, I can help you prepare for the next festival cycle.
The Devadhavas, the performer called Deodhas, Ghoras, and Yogis, go through strict fasting and purification rituals before the event. The divine procession, as the tradition drumbeat pick up, the dancers enter the powerful spiritual trance. Devotees believe that the dancers' bodies are directly possessed by the spiritual power of deity, such as Maa Kali, Tara, and Manasha. Feat of endurance, which is the aesthetic trance. The dancers smear vermilions on their bodies, sharp weapon like sword or shield, and perform incredible feats of physical endurance without feeling any pain. In this state, they are even believed to predict the future and give divine protection to the crowd. That's why we gather there to witness them. This is the history, and very important for all the devotees to know what exactly they do. Many of us don't actually understand. আমরা অনেকজনই বুঝতে পারি না এটা কি হয়, কেন হয়। কারণ আমি মায়ের ভীষণভাবে ফলোয়ার। আমি মায়ের সব কিছু মানে অন্ধ ভরসা করি। তো আমি এগুলো জানতে খুব ইচ্ছা রাখি যে অ্যাকচুয়ালি এইসবের মানেটা কি। Aghoris practice their rituals during the dead of the night, typically between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., which is considered the Maha Nishita Kal, the time when the veil between the physical and spiritual world is thinnest. The dhuni, the sacred fire, Aghoris sit beside the continuous holy fire called a dhuni, lit a cremation ground to them. Fire represent AghoriRituals, the destructive purifying from the Lord Shiva. The fire burns away all the eternally impurities, sins and illusions. The mantra sound, they chant fierce low frequency seed mantras, bij mantras dedicated to Shiva and Kali. They use the sound Om along with the specific vibration to target the spiritual breakthrough. Silence surrounds dark energies and collapses the human ego. Ash and focuses. They offer human ash, alcohol, and substances into the fire intentionally break normal human concept of clean versus unclean. They view the burning fire as a tool to instantly consume their personal attachment to the physical body. The roaring of hypnotic atmosphere Kamakhya festival relies on existing local instruments that have been used for centuries to bridge the human body.